Before you start building your personal brand, there's one crucial step that most people overlook, and this step is so crucial because it's the determining factor of whether you're going to be successful and be able to share your message and have impact in the world and be able to scale and build your business, or experience burnout, which is what I've gone through too many times. And you never really get to have that true purpose that's able to serve at the highest level, the way God's called you to serve. And what I'm about to tell you is going to be absolutely crazy. And honestly, Christo actually said it first. This is where I got this idea from. And it's getting therapy. What? So I don't really have a full structured idea of how to be able to do this. I'm just going to kind of talk to you. So if you're expecting like a real strong dopamine hit from this video and a whole bunch of animations and music and all this other jazz, I don't have it. I just want to try and talk to you straight, and if this video isn't for you, you can go ahead and click off. But this is for those who want to stick through and be able to show up authentically, and they're always curious as to why it feels like when it comes to content creation, you have the ideas, you've been the subject matter expert, you put your years in, but when it comes to the actual creation process, you feel a hindrance and it's just hard for you to show up. And I want to talk to you, it's this where it comes in, that's the weight. That weight that's been sitting on your shoulders for too long, and it's this external pressure to be perfect and always be on. I remember when I used to be a Ninja Warrior coach, and my name was Coach Low, and that was a character that I ended up building for myself from, if you've never read this book before, it's called The Alter Ego Effect by Todd Herman. And essentially the concept of the book is that you're able to tap into the inner you, or tap into a superhero version of you that your normal self wouldn't be able to capture. And one of the examples that they use to elaborate a little more is a reporter or somebody asked Superman, Clark Kent, like, who's the real superhero? Is it Clark or is it Superman? Well, it's Superman, not Clark. Clark's the dress that he puts on, but Superman is how he shows up, how he saves the world, how he has all this power and strength. And I ended up doing the same portion where I thought Coach Low was this superhero version of me, and that's how I was going to show up, and that's how I did show up, and people loved me for my energy. But at a certain point, it just felt like a kind of like a circus act, and I didn't feel like it was really me. And I always felt like I was just trying to be someone else to, I don't even want to say impress people, but even just to keep other people happy, to keep a smile on their face. And I was overstepping my boundaries and wanting to be in a place where I'm seen as this bright light because everybody else is kind of dealing with their own darkness. But when you look down into deeply, when you're showing up like that consistently, what the truth was for me, at least, is that I just had a deep fear of rejection, because I've dealt with abandonment issues and narcissistic relationships in my life. And so I felt like if I wasn't Coach Low, then I wouldn't be accepted. And, with that being said, I want you to ask yourself, as you're going through the personal branding process and what's really holding you back? What's really stopping you from being able to show up authentically and show up and share your journey in a way, because you already have the visibility. You've already gone through the work of building everything out, and studying and probably staying up late nights for hours and hours and dealing with the shit from your bosses before you became an entrepreneur. So you have the accolades now. So what's stopping you from building? And that's where going to therapy is really going to help you to show up and understand that, get down to the nitty gritty of what's going on. Oh, let me go forward. Because what's really holding back is the unresolved personal issues surfacing as you build your brand. And you start realizing, oh, maybe I'm not perfect. Oh, did I say that right? Oh, I don't like how this video looks. And everything, it just starts showing up, and you're just not able to create authentically because you feel like it's just you and the camera talking, but you have to put on another person just to show up for your audience. And at the end of the day, there's 8 billion people in the world. Listen to me, there's 8 billion people in the world. So that means you can be exactly who you are, provide value, and there's going to be a group of people who absolutely love you and want to buy what you have and want to listen to your message. And the risk of creating a brand that doesn't align with your true self is, I've been there before. We run a content agency and we were able to scale it to about 15 to 18K per month. And long story short, we brought on a whole bunch of wrong clients, and I was stuck in a place where I stopped creating content and I wasn't able to, fully express myself anymore, but as well as dealing with the client fulfillment of people who I didn't really align with. And those are the people that I was just really attracting. I didn't understand, okay, why am I in this situation? And when you're going through therapy, or when you're going to somebody, you're able to actually get these feelings out and understand, then you're really able to see, who am I attracted to? What type of audience do I want to build? How do I want to show up so that, I have a raving group of people who I love and they love me as well. So, like I said, I know this because I was in your shoes. So I'm going to just share with you a few thoughts on my 5-step framework for authentic branding. And this isn't something that, is our set in stone. We actually have a process of walking you through your value system with 4 questions. And then from there, we're able to more so clarify and offer for your business so that you're able to show up authentically for your personal brand. But this is just some questions and for this video, some things that I wanted you to consider and, kind of chew on a little bit as you're going through this process. So step 1, I want you to start building up self-awareness. And this is so important because not only will this show up in how you're dealing with when you're working with clients, but it also shows up when you're creating content. Like if you're feeling frustrated, you're working on a video, like I'm working on this video right now, and it's a little bit nerve-wracking. It's not nerve-wracking like I'm freaking out, but this is one of my first YouTube videos where I'm kind of just talking. But I'm able to be I'm at a place where I'm just like, man, F it. I just hope at the end of the day, this reaches one person. I'm able to help one person through this process. And as well as developing self-awareness when you're with your clients. If a client or a family member or a friend says something to you that you don't like, how do you react? Are you blowing up at them? Are you getting pissed off? If your dog starts barking while you're in the middle of filming, are you yelling at your dog to shut up? I'm saying that because I've been there before. And I want you to understand why you feel that way. Because if the camera's recording and your dog's barking, your dog's just being a dog. He or she's not doing anything wrong. But do you feel this overwhelming need to be a perfectionist? And, from that need to be, from everything from start to end to be perfect, your dog is kind of messing up the script. And you're just like, it doesn't matter. What does it matter? Add it to the video or cut it out. It's not going to make or break. At the end of the day, it's not going to make or break of whether or not you post a piece of content. And it's not going to be the make or break of whether you make $1 million or not. You just want to complete the project. So done is better than perfect. And yelling at your dog is just going to, install. I don't know why I stayed on this dog theme the entire time. I didn't yell at my dog today. They haven't done absolutely anything, but I'm just giving you this example. It could be your girlfriend. It could be a phone ringing. It could be anything that kind of disrupts your flow as you're creating. And I want you to develop self-awareness to be at a place where you're able to take a breath, calm down, and get back to recording, which is really what matters. All right. So step 2, embrace authenticity. So this is more so kind of leading in from the last point. You just want to be real. Alex Ramosi had a video, and he's had multiple videos. And I'm seeing this a lot as we're recording with, doing content creation for founders, agency owners, authors, subject matter experts. Most of them don't really care for scripting. I just got a text today where he's like, dude, just set the camera up and let me flow. Let me do me. And you can get to a point where you can systemize the prompting process where you can ask better questions to draw things out of somebody. But at the end of the day, or have somebody draw something out of you. But at the end of the day, you just want to be real. When it comes to creating content, you don't want to think about this as a huge burden as I need to create content. Be the content. Record your Zoom meetings. Record you going on a date with your significant other. Record yourself on a sales call or on a coaching call providing value. Like, be authentic of what you do. You don't need I have a studio setup, but you don't need a full studio setup in order to be able to provide value. I just came across this dude today. Let me see if I can find his brand. I took a picture of it. I shut my phone off so I can't find it. But all he does is on Instagram, and he's at 200,000 followers. He recorded a video he records videos of saying, whatever his hook is with just his iPhone, and then flips the screen around and records the step-by-step process of how to do it. Authentic knowledge, just raw, straight value. And I love watching those videos. It's like, oh, this is a cool dude. He's not, pushing me or it's not this whole fancy setup. I'm not, which I do like, quality content, but at the end of the day, he just seems like a real down-to-earth dude who has a deep wealth of knowledge in what he's teaching. I wish I could tell you his name, but I forgot it. All right. Lesson 3, step 3, handle criticism well. Yeah, that's one of the ones where and you're going to want to stick to lesson 5, because that's the step framework 5 is the last one is going to be another big hitter for you guys. But do you guys remember, you may remember me, I was on the Shade Room. I've gone viral several times in, my content creator journey. The first time, if you remember this video, my wife, it was around Christmas. She took my phone and proceeded to record a video of saying how she direct deposited her money into my bank account, and I gave her an allowance of $100 per week. And let me tell you, this was a time where, of course, all feminism and everything like that it was good, but then it was even stronger. And, long story short, America hated me. Like, I had the dudes who were like, dude, teach me how to be a Sigma, teach me how to, but women across the board freaking hated me. You could still go through my Instagram comments, if you could find the videos, and my TikTok, of people saying that I'm a narcissist, I'm toxic, telling her in the comments, blink twice if you need help, that I'm doing, what's it called when you kind of keep someone, long story short, tons and tons of negative comments. And at the end of the day, what does it matter? You got the views, you got the viewage, and you're able to promote your product more. Like, it doesn't matter. I was going to call with one of my coaching clients, and he was like, one of the issues when it comes to recording YouTube content for him is like, he's scared of what comments he's going to get. I was like, I guess, but what does it really matter? At the end of the day, like, if you don't like my video, if you don't like this video, you can leave a nasty comment, but I'm really just trying to touch you, that the one person who may be in a place where you're ready to start creating content and you're ready to start building your personal brand and making an impact, but you don't understand what's stopping you. It could be dealing with criticism. And this isn't just when it comes to building a personal brand. Like, I've dealt with this in the workplace. I've had, employers tell me, like, I'm on the design team, and I've had employers tell me that I look too hood. I'm on the design team. Everybody here is dressed the same. The only difference was my skin color. But I look too hood. And did I stop working at the place? No, I didn't even file anything to HR. I just was like, I was kind of pissed. I ain't gonna hold you. I was pissed. I was hot. But at the same time, I knew that I was gonna get more value of staying on the team and pushing through it than dipping and leaving. That's what resilience is all about. And you'll be able to build that resilience by sharing your journey with someone else, by talking that out with a therapist, and they can help you be able to establish that, because you're not weak. You're not helpless. You're not a victim. You're still here and you're still going. So handle criticism. If you could do it in your day-to-day life, you would do it every day, you could do it in the comments as well. All right, let's go to framework 4. No, part 4. I don't know how to say it. Align values with actions. Can't stress this one enough. And again, this is why we're kind of going through this, because this is one of the first steps that we take whenever we're building out a personal brand for like one of the founders, authors, speakers, coaches, agency owner, whatever it may be, is that we lay out their value system. That's a second call, but that's the very first actionable step that we take when it comes to personal branding. Because if you're making content, there's a few reasons of why you have to align your value with your actions, especially when it comes to building a personal brand. If you're talking about a whole bunch of nada, like say you're talking about a new side hustle every day and that's your thing, you're going to talk about a new side hustle every day, but you have a deep passion for cooking, you're probably going to burn out if you have to create a newsletter, a YouTube video, 30 pieces of content on this topic of side hustles, when truthfully, you really would love to go deep on a topic when it comes to cooking. Or if you're talking about hustle culture and how you work 24/7, but the way that you were raised was to rest on the Sabbath, on seventh day of the Sabbath, or you rest on Sunday, but you're never going to really have true alignment with what you're outputting if you don't have those internal values set. And that process of having that dissonance will always lead to burnout. It's always going to lead to stress. It's always going to lead to you feeling unfulfilled in your work and with what you're building and in your impact. So you need to get clear on your values. You need to get clear on who you are so that you can show up authentically in a place where you don't have that weight that we talked about earlier in the video on your shoulders. Okay? And I've been there before. Like I said as well in the beginning of this video, like I was at a place earlier this year when we had scaled so much, I'd never seen them closing that many deals, but we were bringing on the wrong clients. We were working with the wrong clients. And it doesn't feel good at all when you're working with the wrong clients, you're doing work that you don't enjoy, and then especially if you're working from home, all you're doing is just moving from one room to the next, or for me, from the couch to the bedroom. I'm just carrying that stress with me everywhere I go. There's no real place to recharge and reset. And the only way that you can escape that is by having a clear identity system and knowing your worth, so that everything that you do is purposeful, not just saying yes because you want to scale at all costs. All right. And then the final one, if you made it to the end, you're a real one. I appreciate you. Love. This one is going to be a huge hitter of why it's important to get therapy when you're building your personal brand. Prevent self-sabotage. Would you have unresolved issues and you're just trying to, let's go back to that phrase, scale at all costs? You're going to end up sabotaging yourself in the long run. It may not show up, and it may not even show up in your work, but it could show up. It will show up in your life in other areas. It could show up in you diving so deep into work that you neglect your family, that you neglect walking your dog, that you even neglect taking care of your own personal health because you don't love yourself. It could show up in, you're doing the work and you're moving forward, but you're also dealing with this addiction on the side that is just, whether it could be something small, like, on your phone or binge watching TV, or it could show up like it did in my life when it came to a smoking addiction. Like weed was what calmed me down. But it wasn't something that was helpful for me. Like I don't have a problem when it comes to smoking weed for other people, or that gas. I mean, I don't know if I can say that here, but smoking, you know, that Mary J. Like, if you do that, awesome. I'm like 2 months sober right now. And before that, I was a year and a half sober. And I ended up falling back because I was in a place where I was so unaligned with my values that I felt like I needed something to make me feel good. So the gas and whatever the addiction is that you may be dealing with, maybe it be Adderall pills or what, that's not the addiction. That's just your form of self-medicating. The problem is the unresolved issues that you never took care of. And now these addictions that are showing up is what's sabotaging your future of actually be able to reach your goal, actually be able to reach what you're trying and do what you're trying to do and serve who you're trying to serve and take care of your family or create the, you know, the wealth or the generational impact that you weren't able to get when you were younger. Like that's how it will end up showing up. So you have to take care of yourself. You have to go get therapy. You have to do the work. That's the real work. And once you do that, the process will work for you. You won't deal with burnout when it comes to creating content. You won't deal with burnout when it comes to building your personal brand. And you can put systems in place, of course, to make this a lot better when it like automations and hiring a team like us. Like there's so many different things that you do. But even if you brought on a team, if you're not clear on these things first, all you're going to do is burn them out too, because you're running in a whole bunch of different directions. And they get sense when you're unhappy. Oh, I want to show you. I didn't get to show you this, but this process works. Yeah, this process works. That was the end of it.